In a city as big as Toronto, it's easy to miss a name, but sometimes one name speaks volumes. Ajay Simpson wasn't a gang member, he was just a good youth. He wasn't trying to be a shooter or rapper. But in a community gripped by cycles of trauma and retaliation, even staying out the way doesn't guarantee survival. This is the story of a young black man taken by senseless violence, and how a 14-year-old with a gun became part of Toronto's broken legacy. But sometimes, one name speaks volumes. Ajay Simpson wasn't a gang member, he was just a good youth. He wasn't trying to be a shooter or rapper. But in a community gripped by cycles of trauma and retaliation, even staying out the way doesn't guarantee survival. This is the story of a young black man taken by senseless violence and how a 14-year-old with a gun became part of Toronto's broken legacy. Ajay Simpson, 21 years old, a son, a friend, someone's brother. He wasn't a street legend. His name didn't ring out in citywide rap beefs or court cases. But on September 10, 2022, his death made headlines. Not just because of where it happened, but who killed him. A 14-year-old boy. Let that sink in. This wasn't some clash between rival sets or a long-running street feud. Ajay, by all accounts, wasn't beefing. He wasn't banging. But he still became another black man gunned down by another black man, just in a younger body. Falstaff is a name that rings heavy in Toronto. From as early as the 90s, it's been tied to gang crackdowns, drug raids, and heavy police surveillance. It's one of the most targeted areas in North York, but it's also a place where people grow up. Families, kids, community. That Saturday, Ajay was standing outside one of the Falstaff buildings. Broad daylight, nothing loud, just life happening. Then a kid walked up on him. No fight, no yelling, no struggle, just shots, multiple. Ajay dropped to the pavement. Paramedics arrived and rushed him to hospital. For a few days, his family held hope. But then came the news. Ajay didn't make it. Police didn't take long to identify a suspect. But when they released the details, Toronto was in disbelief. The alleged shooter, just 14 years old, his name protected under the Youth Criminal Justice Act. But his actions were already irreversible. A second-degree murder charge was laid. That means police believed it was intentional, not an accident, not self-defense. This kid knew what he was doing. But how does someone that young even get a gun? How do they end up with the mindset to end a life? Here's where things get murky and painful. Community sources say Ajay wasn't involved in the street game. But in places like Falstaff, that might not matter. You might not bang a set. You might not carry a pole. But being from a certain block, or even just being on a certain block, can make you a target. That's the part people outside the community don't get. For a lot of youth in the trenches, conflict isn't about who did what. It's about who looks like the enemy, who lives where, who dresses a certain way, who stood next to the wrong people in a picture. And this is where we need to get real. This ain't just about a tragic death. This is about senseless black-on-black violence. We don't talk about it enough. Not honestly, not in our own spaces, because it's uncomfortable, but it's reality. Ajay didn't die because of the cops. He didn't die in a war overseas. He was murdered by a kid who probably looked just like him. And that kid? He's now in a cage. Probably lost, probably angry, probably a product of trauma we still haven't figured out how to heal. This isn't just a Falstaff issue. It's happening in every borough, every hood, from Rexdale to Regent to Scarborough. Kids who don't even know who they are yet, being handed weapons, beefs, and pain like it's tradition. Let's not act like this all happens in a vacuum. Where are the resources? Where's the mental health support? Where are the mentors before the ops? You strip away housing, push police presence instead of programs, glorify trauma in music, and then act surprised when 14-year-olds carry out hits. This system is built to fail our youth. Ajay was failed by that system. So was the kid who killed him. In the days after his death, Falstaff was quiet. Not from peace, from pain. People posted tributes, held small vigils, but no marches, no national outrage. Because this is just expected now. Young black men dying isn't shocking anymore. It's normalized. And that's the saddest part of all. Ajay Simpson's name deserves to be remembered. Not because he was a gangster or a rapper, but because he was just a young man trying to live. And he didn't get that chance. The shooter deserves accountability, but he also deserves help. Because throwing another black child into the system without trying to fix the system won't stop the next one. The violence in our communities isn't random. It's generational, it's systemic, and it's getting younger. Until we confront it honestly and invest in real change, we'll keep making videos like this. This is Pollies in day 6-9, and this was the story of Ajay Simpson, a name you should remember.